Hello, welcome to round two of the Daytona Super Champs 2022. Thank you very much for tuning in to Grubby Mango, another exciting edition. We're on our pole lap here, super pole lap, sorry, it wasn't a pole lap. Well, it kind of was, I suppose. I'll show you where I came in a moment. The thing about Super Champs is that everyone goes out to do a qualifying lap, so you go out one by one. And you've basically got to make the most of your short time on track that you have. So I'm just jumping in the seat here, trying to get as much power as I can. Obviously, we've been out for our practice. We've gone back in. We've come back out again. So we've got some very cold tyres. As you can see there, doing plenty of sliding around. A little bit of a conservative Super Pole lap. I normally sort of think that you might get a tenth or two more. However, it's very unlikely and you're far more likely to bin it. This was that the time's really tight at the top. 4 100ths, 5 100ths off, then Nick Fallon 1/10 back, and then me, the first heavyweight, just less than a tenth behind him. So you've got Tom Brown just in front of me, Nick Fallon to the left of him, Philip Babulau, overall pole. I'm really sorry, Guy, overall second. I'm not sure what your name is, but the man to our left of us is the man that we're fighting, Anthony Unit, for we're the top heavyweights, and then there's some heavyweights and lightweights behind. Tom Brown gets a great start up the inside of Philip Babulau. And we're sort of 3 wide into turn 2, really tricky. Just by being sort of on the outside, my engine revs a little bit higher, and we're going to go into turn 3. So Nick Fallon there just has to take evasive action. We had a spinner, the guy who started second spun, and so Nick had to take evasive, and he just got into the side of Philip Babulau there. But they both live to fight another day, so all good news. Coming down this front straight, a pretty decent opening lap to start with. We're into third position and very cold tyres, as Philip finds out, and I almost get it wrong out of sympathy there as well. Tyres are beginning to warm up a little bit now. Now I've really tried to reduce the engine noise, the engine note on here, so that as Nick tries to go up the inside, we give him a bit of space, and by virtue of left-right, manage to make it work. So we've lost a little bit of time here. That the reason for that will become apparent in a moment, and I'm just going to, I'm not sure how much of the engine note you can hear. Hopefully you can hear something. I've turned it right down so that the quality of my voice recording is a little bit better. I'm just going to stop talking here. I don't know if you can hear, but the engine, or the clutch, in fact, actually is beginning to slip. That was the first time I noticed it. It's also happening around this corner. It's going to happen around this corner as well. And essentially what's happening is that the clutch, as I'm just beginning to realise, I'm beginning to start waving to some marshals, not that they saw me, the clutch is becoming disengaged with the engine, and that is very bad news. Now, I'm no mechanic, but I know that that's going to be a problem. But I'm also, not being a mechanic, not really sure what this is at this stage. Just hoping beyond hope that the problem will rectify itself, and with the benefit of hindsight, that was very wishful thinking. But after battling with Nick to try and retain position for a moment or two, Philip and Tom, they're not really actually massively gapping us considering this issue, but there it is. Eventually it packs up. I wasn't in the least bit surprised, to be honest. Absolutely devastated, really, as Seb very promptly comes over to push us to safety, and I think I just talked over it there, but yeah, confirmation that it was a clutch. I think Seb could hear it. And knew as well. So absolutely disastrous for the championship, really. This is a short championship, only 4 rounds. Now, we won round 1, so that was all good. We were on pole, yeah, really looking forward to a good race. A really kind of tight battle there, wasn't it? As Seb's just saying, he's going to go back and pick up my weights. It looks like I'm running. I'm not running. I'm walking very slowly, very sadly, back to the pits where these karts are looking really quick, aren't they? Looking like Formula 1 cars. Maybe I should do all my videos this speed. Yeah, just walking very slowly, very sad, back to the pit lane where Josh has got another kart waiting for us. So I've sped it up. Not much to see. It's not very interesting watching a man trudging slowly and sadly back to the pits, is it? But anyway, into our second kart, and we're off again. I really should have been running back, if I'm honest. I should have been running back to the pit lane, because I believe those guys who you just saw go past at the top of the shot, they were the leaders in DMAX again. So we could have saved ourselves going another lap down. As it is, I believe we're 3 laps down, so it's pretty much race over, really unfortunate. One of those things, you can see this kart's cold, very cold. It's like driving on ice a little bit there. It's going to take a lap or two for the tyres to warm up. Pretty cold conditions today. I don't know what it was, but I would have thought somewhere between sort of 5 to 10 degrees, something like that, maybe less. Probably not 10 degrees actually, maybe 6, 7, 8 degrees, which is pretty good for the engines, not great for the grip level. So grip level wasn't too bad actually. I'm not demonstrating that very well in this cold kart right now, but you'll just have to believe me, the grip level wasn't too bad. So I don't know what the points are going to be in the championship at the moment, because the man who you saw by the side of us lining up P2 on the heavies, Anthony Unit, he's very good at this alternate layout. This is not, obviously you can see here, this is not the normal layout. This is the alternate layout. In fact, let's have a chat through this actually, because this is not the one that you can come down here and practice. One thing I really like about Sandown Park is that the alternative tracks are very different. We're going across the line here. Turn 1 is a right-hander. Pretty tricky actually. With turn 2, you want to take a late apex here. Probably not that late. I just missed the apex there on the cold tyres, cold fronts. Turn 3, very tricky. You need to brake much earlier than you think actually. There's not that much grip around there. And then turn 4, really important again, because you want to set up what is a very long straight. You've got Vale, turn 5, very quick. Not as quick as it normally is, of course, but very quick. And now you've got the absolutely terrifying, well, normally it's terrifying, turn 6, but we have a yellow flag here, and actually that is Anthony, who has been in an incident with another kart, and unfortunately for him, he's gone in quite hard there, I think. Normally that is an absolutely terrifying, if you look at the speedometer, you're going about 56 miles an hour, something like that, on the approach there. So commiserations to him and everyone involved in that. Glad to see that everyone's all right. But just it goes to show, doesn't it? I think I should have been running back. You never know what's going to happen. I've had some bad luck, but that doesn't necessarily mean that other people won't have bad luck as well. We could still get back into it. Obviously, I'm not hoping that anyone else gets any bad luck. That's not really the attitude, is it? Now, if you look at that. I didn't really notice because I was looking at Anthony the first time, but as a result of that incident, a load of mud and I believe a load of water was kind of dragged onto the track from the barriers on the left-hand side, and I didn't notice it. And so, very lucky to keep it out of the barriers there. So quite a scary moment. I saw it must have been someone's granddad, an old boy, sort of taking a step back as I was trying to collect the cart there. And am I going to learn my lesson? I don't know. Ooh, I'm excited. Let's see, shall we? Going up here, what's the speedometer saying? So up into 54, 56 miles an hour. Are we going to learn? Oh, no, we're not. Again, nearly in the barrier. that guy, that granddad there, he must have been wondering what the hell I was doing. But there's a couple of laps actually before I realised what had happened, and I needed to change my line or brake earlier, one of the two. But yeah, at this stage, just trying to put some laps in, and like I said to you earlier, you can't come down here and practice this layout. So even though the race is pretty much lost, there is still certainly lots of value to be pushing to the maximum, and to try and understand where to be fast. And I'll tell you where it's not to be fast. It's getting it wrong into here. Hey, look at that. Yeah. So basically, I think there's a little bit of water coming out of the tyres from where those karts took a hit, and the left-hand tyres, as I'm trying to load them up on the way into the braking zone there, are just slipping, not the brightest spark. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't got that much to talk about. So this is a set of lights that I made. I made that table as well when I got back. I'm going to speed things up a bit here. It's just me driving around now, double speed, overtaking some Sodi karts. Yeah, I built that table when I got back. I ordered the wood from Wix. Trouble is, when you're not battling anyone, you haven't got anything to talk about. What else can I talk about? I also put those lights up, so we've got this little outside patio area with a great big long table now and some lights, so I'm enjoying that in the summer. Probably attract flies actually, won't it? So what else can I talk about? Yeah, the weight category. So the weight, I've mentioned this in my my videos before. The weight categories have gone up to 90 kilograms for the heavyweights, unlike the 80 kilograms they were before. Now I have to say, karting's always been a really kind of a real source for good in my life. When I first started karting, I lost about 1.5 stone, 2 stones, something like that. However, my natural sort of body weight is about 78 kilograms, and since the I have to work really hard to keep it off. I'm kind of naturally, I'm not a particularly sort of skinny person. I put on weight very, very easily. I put on muscle very easily as well, which is obviously, I suppose, typically quite a good thing. But actually, for everything that I want to do, which has always been running, tennis. I don't know why I said tennis. Not a particularly fan of tennis actually, but played a little bit when I was younger. Karting though, and sort of motorcycling. That's sort of a little bit of what I did before. Being light and not carrying lots of excess weight has been really important. So not ideal, but I've been ever since the weight categories have gone up, I've really stopped trying so hard to lose weight. It's not good really. My incentive for being good has sort of gone out the window, so I'm gonna have to take myself in hand. But I was going to slow it down a bit here because this is a little bit more interesting. Now we've been through a few Sodis, and there's a whole load of Sodis up ahead, but in having to lap them, there's a few DMAX drivers. So this is I think it's Alex, Chris, and Anthony, I think. So I'm so sorry if I got your name wrong. There's 3 of them there. Can't remember quite who it was. But this is actually kind of the only sort of little battle that we get in this race. So it's worth having a little look at. So there's a couple of Sodis in between us, and then it's a couple of DMAXs. Yeah, so Andrew Clark just in front of us, and then there's Chris, and then there's a guy called Alex, and they're all trying to battle past. I believe that's one of the front runners. I believe that's a guy called Jensen, I think his name is. He's obviously very quick, and all of this battling has put me on the back of these guys. Now I don't really want to be getting in the way of them because they've got their own battle, so it's not really fair for me to be getting in the way. However, try and go up the inside of them. This is Alex on the right hand side. It is worth, I think, having a little battle because it's all a bit of fun, isn't it? And of course, I like I said earlier, it's just it's a bit of practice as well. That's the only kind of value that we're going to get here. So nice to have a little battle with them, but we're not going to take any ridiculous risks and go onto the curb there. Andrew comes back at the inside, and Alex. It's Speedy Gonzalez, actually, if just in front of us now. Please do check out his channel. He's got lots of interesting footage. I believe he's got a 360 camera up on the top of his head there. So yeah, go and check his footage out as well. He's having a great battle with Chris and Andrew. Like I said, we're not going to put any silly moves on these guys because they are battling. We're not really in it, but the space opens up on the outside, and of course we've got the right-hander coming up here as well, so able to get through Andrew and Chris without causing them too much in the way of any issues. And we're just going to see, it's going to sit behind Alex for a little while now. I think I was able a little bit to pull up on the brakes there. So I'm thinking that might be an opportunity next time around. So I'm just going to have to sit behind him for a little bit. Gaps us a little bit here, and yeah, into the infield straight. But I think we're quite aggressive on the brakes, aren't we? Yeah, this area here where our higher weight is a bit more of an advantage. I take a later apex there to try and get onto the power. I think it probably is the right thing for me to do, although Alex took loads of speed into the corner there, and I think actually gapped us slightly. Thinking about the move, going for it in the end. Yeah, that's job done. So a nice little battle with those guys, but now it's just again a matter of trying to get my head down and do as much learning as possible, and not getting in these guys' way, because they are having a great battle. And I have to say, actually, congratulations to Andrew, who won in the heavyweights, and also Chris, who came second. So nice bit of silverware for those guys. Not sure what's going to happen with regard to the championship now, because Andrew, I believe, used his joker in round one, and so he's he's got quite a lot of points on the board, and having won this round as well, I imagine he's going to be pretty close, or we're going to be pretty close on points, I believe, because I got fastest lap in the first. What's going to happen there? Ooh, you just never know if they've seen you, do they? He gives room, which is good of him. And then we're just going to get him on the exit. Fastest laps, I believe there's a point or two for that as well, and I've got a couple of fastest laps. I believe I got the fastest lap for the heavies in this race. This kart actually wasn't as fast as my previous kart, so in practice and in one-shot qualifying, Super Pole qualifying, I was exactly just over 2/10 off the fastest, and in this car it was, I can't remember what it was now, but it was substantially more than that, 6/10 or something like that. So I don't know if it's a fact that this car was obviously a little bit colder, but I definitely felt that there was less grip. I don't think there's anything wrong with the engine necessarily, but the tyres were perhaps a little bit older. There was definitely much less grip in this kart. My braking zones were noticeably longer than they were in the first kart that I had. Disappointing kind of day, although saying congratulations to Chris and Andrew for their P2 and their P1 respectively. We actually came home P3 in the end, because Anthony, who I mentioned earlier, retired from the race, and actually there were only 4 heavyweights today, so really, really fortunate that to be taking home some silverware. I don't really deserve it. Well, actually no, we do deserve it, because the pace was there, but I think we got a bit lucky. That's certainly what I'd say, because there was a sort of smaller number of people who arrived at this event, and we obviously went up a place from a retirement from someone else. So that's silver lining there. Now, a couple of other things I was just going to talk about. Grubby Mango is now on Instagram. All right, so if you enjoyed watching this video, please feel free to look me up on Instagram. Again, I'm just trying to build like a little community of like-minded people who want to get involved together. And the other thing that I suppose I should say is like and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say, isn't it? Like and subscribe the video, or don't. It's up to you. I'm not going to make you. But anyway, final thing is we're just going past some SOD, so you've got to be really careful, particularly in this bit. You can see how the track juts out there. We've all been told to leave at least 2 kart widths because putting someone into the barrier there is just going to be a plane crash, isn't it? But yeah, one other thing that I was sort of considering, and please feel free to let me know in the comments or on Instagram or anything like that. Oh, by the way, I'm actually also on TikTok as well. Look me up on there as well. I've got 3 videos. All right, Grubby Mango is going to take over the world. The other thing that I was thinking about was possibly sort of hiring out the track and putting on a sort of special event. And I'm not sure how it would work exactly, but maybe the Grubby Mango 100 laps, something like that, in order to sort of promote this community and potentially sort of any profits, any proceeds could go to aid the people of Ukraine, something like that. I was thinking some non-lethal aid for the people of the Ukraine. I mean, again, let me know if the sort of regular guys who are sort of coming up and down here are interested in that at all. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. It sounds like quite an interesting sort of proposition. I don't know whether I'd actually. I think I might need to, in order to monetize it, I might need to turn this Grubby Mango thing into a business. I'm thinking out loud here. You don't want to hear that. Anyway, let me know if it sort of interests you, some kind of charity kart event. And I believe that people have before hired out the sort of whole track and done a sort of race for some of their YouTube footage. I think there's a guy called Joe Achilles who's done one before as well. So other than that, can't really think of anything to say. It's just a man driving around in his go-kart feeling sorry for himself. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, if you were racing today, I hope you had a good time. I hope you've seen yourself on here a little bit as well. It's always good to see yourself on someone else's video. I'll see you in a month for round 3. Of course, anyone who's interested, there's round 2 of the in-kart as well. So that's in a couple of weeks. This is going to be the same layout. So same layout as this. It's the alternate layout here. So if nothing else, we've got a good amount of practice in, looking forward to it. So take it easy. I'll see you next time.